Hi and welcome to our first Guerilla toy review on Geek Force. We're calling it Guerilla Toy because there's actually no setup, no script. We're just reviewing the toys as we open them up and as we see them. The first ones we're looking at are the Thunderbirds Are Go collection from Vivid, which were released last year to coincide with the release of the new show on ITV. We think it's a great series. We've really been impressed by the CGI and the fact that they've got Weta Studios involved in producing the model sets, and we've really enjoyed it from the first episode through to the last, and are greatly looking forward to series 2. The figures we feel are equally as impressive. These ones we've picked up from a variety of places. You can get them quite easily at the moment still, so don't really expect to be paying more than $7.99 a figure. You can get them from Toys R Us, The Entertainer. I think even Argos and places like that are doing them. Very easy to find on eBay, very easy to find on Amazon and on anywhere else on the internet for that matter. First thing that strikes you is the packaging is very, very good. Nicely done, not over the top, not too much of it. So we're going to take a look at one or two of the figures in closer detail and tell you what we think about them. As you can see, all of the Thunderbirds are represented. The new outfits are really, really good, and I think they're a pretty good upgrade of the original show. Being a massive fan of Gerry Anderson things, I was very, very sceptical about a remake of this or a reboot. Captain Scarlet, for me, I enjoyed. I thought it was successful. It was a shame it was shut away on ITV at such a bizarre time of day at the time, and no wonder it didn't take on. Thunderbirds, they've kind of done the same thing. Fortunately, they have found an audience for these. But really, 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday, that's part of a quite poor children's TV show as far as we're concerned, that does not live up to any of the standard of the ones in the Saturday morning shows of the 80s. But the show has actually managed to win that audience, particularly amongst children, and I think adults alike. Massive fans of Gerry Anderson seem to be quite happy with it, and rightly so. We think it's a worthy addition, even though we know it's not Anderson Productions that have made it. So let's have a look. All of the boys are represented. There's Scott from Thunderbird 1, Virgil from Thunderbird 2, Alan from Thunderbird 3, Gordon from Thunderbird 4, and John from Thunderbird 5. Also as part of the set, there's Brains with his amazing robot Max, and K.O. Kirano, who we know from the original was Tintin, but obviously the update, making a stronger female character and making the name a little bit more accessible, obviously related to the Hood. We've also got the Hood figure as well, which we've already opened, so we'll show you that in a little while as well, but we think they're a great set. So looking in closer detail, if we take just one of the figures, if we take Scott from Thunderbird 1, as I said, the packaging is pretty sparse, which we think is a real plus, that they're not going over the top in putting loads and loads of packaging on there. It's a great packet and it does its job. What more do you need really from a packet? If you're a collector who wants to keep it in the packet, then this one's for you. We don't, we like to take them out. But again, great art on the back there. They've gone not to town on it, but it's just enough for children to get behind that character, to have sort of like almost like the Action Force fact files that you used to put on there. Just very, very basic stuff, telling you a little bit about Scott Tracy and what kind of equipment you should be getting in that pack. It's got the Vivid logo on there as well. We like it. I like it. I think it's a great piece of artwork on the back there. It's just enough to do it, and it sums up kind of the series as well. So this is Scott free from the box. It's a really nice figure. The mouldings are good on this. The sculpt's really good. The detail is just enough. It represents what you see on screen very well, and it looks cartoon-like still. It picks up the details of the CGI model that's on screen. Nice articulation. There's articulation at the hip joint, at the knee. The knee actually swivels as well, The arm has got good articulation on it as well. It's a bit of a strange position, I guess, that the arms don't go right the way in, but that's the case on so many figures nowadays. But it has got that kind of the movement where you can swivel upwards and outwards on the shoulder. It's jointed as well at the elbow, and obviously the head moves all the way around if you want it to, if you want to pretend it's got some kind of strange owl. But it's good. There's enough articulation on that figure. The only thing I would say about it is I know from talking to children at school who've brought these that some of these, they're not that hard wearing in places. You've got to be quite careful. I've had a couple of kids who've come to me because they know I can fix these kind of things, saying that the knee has actually come away, the lower part of the leg has actually come out. It's easy to fix. I use the same method that many people use, which is to boil the figure or to heat it up and put the part back in and then allow it to cool back down, and it does the trick. However, I don't think you should be buying figures that actually do that. So it might be something for Vivid to look at, that maybe some of these aren't being plugged in as well as they should be on initial make. But I've no complaints with it in terms of that myself. That it's a really good figure, and I think the play value of it is pretty good. Included with it, you've got the backpack that actually snaps onto the back there. There's 2 points at which you can plug it in. You can see the little pegs on there that fit into it, and it does fit quite nicely onto it. It's pretty hard to do it with one hand, but you can see it will fit onto there and it will clip in quite happily. I can show you that if I've got two hands available. The helmet that comes with it as well, again, really nice detail on there again for such a small size. Consider this is 3.75, and it actually, the face mask actually opens up on there as well. It's a very tight fit on that head though. When I've put it on, it did actually kind of mark the face a little bit. When I've had to rub those marks off, the sort of paint marks have come off from the helmet itself onto the face. That's my only gripe really about the figure, that it's things like that kind of are probably more irritating as an adult, but I know personally as a child that would have irritated me, that I'd have felt that I'd have immediately wrecked the figure. Again, it's something maybe that they need to look at. That I get why they've done it the way it is. It's a nice close fit to the head, just like it is in the series. But part of me thinks, for a child that can be immensely irritating if it starts to wear features off from the face. And it's the kind of thing that myself and other people who restore toys, it's one of our bugbears, I guess, that we end up fixing eyes and things and hair where acrylic paint's been worn off. The other figures are pretty similar. We've not opened the rest yet, but same amount of points of articulation. They each come with two accessories, like the helmet or the backpack. It would be great to think that maybe Vivid have got the foresight to kind of come up with weapons packs, much like Kenner's Star Wars or Palitoy Star Wars did, or Palitoy and Hasbro's Action Force G.I. Joe range. Really like to see that. It's not something you tend to see nowadays with modern figures, but it'd be great to have kind of rescue packs that could be additional and fit onto these figures. Make them a lot more, I think for children there's more play value in that if you can buy the smaller packs then afterwards that continue to expand the characters. Be interested to hear what other people think about that idea. It seems to be something that's died a death nowadays. You don't tend to get that. In terms of toys available as additional packs to these, Vivid have in fact made the Tracy Island, and they've made some of the Thunderbirds vehicles themselves, not to the size of the figures though. It will be interesting to see if they actually produce some of the toys to fit the 3.75 inch figure range. I would love to see the size of a Thunderbird 2 that could fit these figures, or a Thunderbird 1 for that matter. I'm kind of banking on the fact that they've not released Parker and Lady Penelope yet, and I'm really hoping that they produce a Fab 1 Virtual that fits those figures into it at least. Surely there's some mileage in making a large Fab 1 for Lady Penelope and Parker. Yeah, the hood figure, again, pretty good. Really nice mould. This is from the outfit that he's wearing in kind of the first few episodes, the Ring of Fire Part 1 and 2. And it comes with the Seaquake device from that episode and the stun device, which as a child that would have been a nightmare for me. I know I would have lost that straight away. I just equate that with kind of the Jawa gun I had as a child that I kept losing and finding behind various bits of furniture or down the side of chairs and things. Very easy to lose, very easy for somebody to eat as well, I would guess. Points of articulation pretty good. The only thing I would say is probably the jacket kind of gets in the way of his legs actually moving pretty far. But I don't know. As a child, it had really irritated me if the jacket was a part of the legs as well. So I kind of like the detail on that, but it does make the points of articulation a lot less easy to make him sit or do anything really. It'd be nice to think that maybe they'll do another hood figure in a different outfit. Would also be good if I was just thinking to kind of Action Force figures, and Zartan, the Master of Disguise, has kind of got different a mask that you put on his face and things. It'd be good if they could make a hood figure that's got like disguise kits that you can kind of put on his face as well. Points of articulation, it's a pretty loose limbed figure, this one, for some reason. I was looking, kind of the legs and things are very, very loose. I don't know why. The other figures aren't that way, but for some reason the hood is quite loose. Look at that. We really like the Thunderbirds Are Go range from Vivid. We really like the TV show itself. What we'd like to see next is that Vivid expand the range by possibly adding some environments for the figures to actually be set up against, and certainly for children who are buying these to be able to play with in those action environments. Something like the plastic base with the cardboard background that Kenner used to make back in the 70s. Maybe a Tracy Island environment, maybe some kind of rescue areas for them to pick up things that were actually in the show. That'd be great for children to play with, and for collectors to actually use as a backdrop for these figures to display. We're going to be reviewing some more toys. Next time we'll be looking at the Thunderbirds action Virtuals that have been produced, the Talking Virtuals by Vivid. We'll also be looking at classic toys as well, ones that we grew up with, ones that are in my collection like Star Wars figures and He-Man, and that the other guys in Geek Force own as well. We'd also like you to contact us with your collections and share maybe some of your reviews of some of your favourite toys from childhood, or some of the toys that you're collecting right now. And you can join us on our various social media to share those things. Hope you enjoyed the review, and please follow us, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.